G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Just a quick shout out to my Aussie mates who are members of the channel. So I've got Yuli, whose favorite position is quarterback, and his favorite player is Big Ben. West, punter. Troy at 43. Brian Harrington, free safety. The Bus. And Pepper, our other punter, and her favorite player is Ward. If you guys would like to support me and join Aussie mates and mates rates, the lowest tier, on Steeler Nation Australia membership, it's $3 USD for the month. You get name in the credits and general support. So I thank you guys for that. So a shout out to you guys who are members. You don't have to do that, but there's a reason why I start with that. I asked the members a question, a members only question in a post, and I got some feedback. So I wanted some video ideas. What do we talk about, guys? Let's be very honest, right? If I draw back the black and gold curtain from a content or YouTuber content, Steeler, podcaster perspective, you have to draw things out a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you got to come up with ideas, themes, discussions, all that kind of stuff. And of course, I need video ideas to get content out there and talk my team. That's what I want to do. I want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the draft talk, I mentioned yesterday in a mock draft. I'm not too happy about the mock drafts. I don't really care right now. Maybe in about a month time, I might start talking about the mock draft and see what I would do and what players I might choose, or we can cover different articles and different guys from ESPN where they're choosing their players. We can go down that route. I don't mind talking about players. If you guys have any players from the college draft who could be good players, but mocking them right away in a certain draft order, I think it's too early. It's way too early. But I don't mind talking about college draft players and what they would mean to the team if they were to make the team. However, I asked the question to my members from Mates Rates. If you want to join, that would be fantastic. And I got some good video ideas. But I first want to start off with this video idea that is from Steelers Out West. And he's brought up best players. So we're pretty much going to go over the best players in 2022 on offense, on defense, on teams, and maybe give out some awards. But I don't want to give out the generic Eric, like, you know, who was the best guy on offense, that kind of stuff. There's a term out there, and you can do that. We'll talk defense too. There's a term out there, though, guys. You know, I don't know where it started. I don't know who made it up, but I love it. You know, there's often a term out there called, you know, when you start watching a Steelers player, they turn into like a true Steeler. You know what I mean? Like TJ Watt is a true Steeler. Highsmith is becoming into a true Steeler. So, and when you say that, and Cameron Haywood, true Steeler. When you say that, there's a lot of like passion, intensity around that. You know that they're a good player for the team. They mean well for the team. They're there for the longevity. They do 110% things for the team. So in today's episode or video, let's cover 5 players. We'll try and find 5. If we do a bit more, we do more. If we do less, that's okay. But we'll try and cover 5 players. And I'm just going off the top of my head. In this year, in 2022, who was a true Steeler? And you guys can play along. Put down in the comments below what 5 players you think are true Steelers in 2022. Now, you can also have guys like TJ Watt who didn't play the year, but you still think he's the guy. But I'm more focusing on 2022. So I might not even put TJ Watt in this aspect for this year in 2022. Now, he's a true Steeler 110%, all right? But I've got some other avenues I'm going to go down. And first of all, I want to start with, I don't know if he's there yet. I don't know if Kenny Pickett is there yet, but he's becoming a true Steeler, right? He played 13 games. I think he went 7-6, 2,400 yards, 7 TDs, 9 interceptions. He's becoming a true Steeler. And I think if the Steelers build around him in the offseason, they get some pieces, they retain the O-line, they go and get some help at receiver, they keep Warren and Najee. And depending what happens with Canada, I feel like Canada's going to stay. Fair enough. I think Kenny Pickett can become a true Steeler. And next year is going to be a very big year for him in 2023. But even this season in 2022, you look at the way he played down the stretch. They started 2-6. He got thrown to the fire in the Jets game. He lost that. He lost the Bills game. He came out of the bye, and he went 7-2 in the bye. So, and he did get concussed once again. Trubisky came in there. But I feel like Kenny Pickett had a true Steelers season this year in 2022. He really put himself on the map and on the Pittsburgh Steelers front and said, you know what? I can take over this game. I can lead with confidence, and I can lead our team to victory, and I can lead our team to future playoff wins and future playoff, hopefully, Super Bowl. So I feel like Kenny Pickett is my number one guy who is that true Steeler, and he showed that in 2022. Now, let's stick with the offense. Another guy that showed that is definitely Najee Harris. Najee Harris, for sure, in 2022, is a true Steeler. The way that he ran the football, guys, was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It seemed like every time he got the ball, yes, he went through some injuries. He had that Liz Frank, the injury of his foot, right? Took at the middle plate. He was a bit sluggish. Sometimes he was going backwards. He was dancing around everywhere. But also, since the bye, when they went 7-2, since the bye, things just seemed to go his way. He would run the ball forward, knock people over, hurdle, stiff arm, palm them, all those things. He would churn his legs, always fighting for extra yards. And he also got 1,000 yards rushing again. He got 1,000 yards rushing last year. And this year, from 272 attempts, he got 1,034, 3.8 average, and 7 TDs. So my second player as a true Steeler in 2022 is Najee Harris. Now, I'm going to scroll down to look at a few names on my ESPN stats, and we're going to go to the defense this time. And let me know in the comments, guys, what you think or how many players you have so far. Who are your true Steelers? Name 5 if you can. Now, this one is easy. This one's easy. Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick is that guy that you don't even really remember. You don't even really remember him being from the Dolphins. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't even think about he was with the Dolphins for a year or two, and we traded him, and we got Minkah, and now he's a true Steeler. He's that guy at the back, next to Edmonds, free safety, killing it. Absolutely killing it. With Minkah back there, you have a high chance to win. And this year in 2022, he had 56 tackles solo and 40 assists, so 96 tackles. He was second in the team under Miles Jack for tackles, tackle for loss 1, pass deflections 11, 6 interceptions, right, and 1 TD. So that's pretty good. So I think if you're going to name a few Steelers who were the best players of 2022, or who were the true Steelers of 2022, who you can build around, the organization, build the confidence. Minkah on the defense doesn't, to me, feel like he even played for the Dolphins anymore. He feels like he's a true Pittsburgh Steeler through and through. Now, let's move on to our second one. And I did leave out TJ Watt for a reason. This is why. My fourth guy that I think proved himself this year, and you guys already know where I'm going with this, is Alex Highsmith. I feel like that he had a year that has now surmounted him as, you know what? Highsmith is a guy. He's definitely a guy. Highsmith is a guy. He's a true Steeler. You can see it now. You have TJ Watt on one side, which we all know how good he is, and he'll have a better year next year. Hopefully, he's much more healthier. But Highsmith in 2022 proved himself that he can take care of his own, and on the other side of the field, he can stand up and show up when he needs to. And he did it all year. It was fantastic. Highsmith played in 17 games, 63 tackles, but here it is, 14 and a half sacks. He led the Steelers with 14 and a half sacks. So he definitely needs a mention. Needs a mention for sure. Tackles for loss, 12. Pass deflections, 1. And forced fumbles, 5. Highsmith had a massive year. Had a huge year. And it's so good to see that he's a true Steeler right now. And 2022 was kind of like his breakout year. But next year, in 2023, when this defense comes together again, and possibly by getting rid of Devin Bush, bringing someone else in. I hope they bring in Tremaine Edmonds, by the way. If they bring someone else in, then we're going to see even more motion right there with TJ Watt and Highsmith on the field together for hopefully 15, 16 games, 17 games if they can, with minimal injuries, are going to go off next year in 2023. Now, the last player. So far, I've named Highsmith. I've named Minkah. I've named Najee Harris, and I've named who's the other guy? Pickett, Kenny Pickett. let's choose one more. And I'm looking through the list. I'm thinking, let's choose one more guy who is a true Steeler. And I really want to choose George Pickens. I do. I want to choose George Pickens on offense. Do I choose George Pickens? Okay. Wait a minute. No, you know what? This year I'm not going to give him the true Steeler award just yet. I'm going to go back to the defense. I want to choose George Pickens, and he's maybe my guy on the fringe. Guys like Warren, guys like Pickens, even Muth. Muth is up there too. He's a true Steeler. But I'm going to go back to the defense. I'm going to go back to Cameron Haywood. I think he's my fifth guy that I'm going to choose. That is an ultimate true Steeler for this team, and he makes this team work. He gets them in the best position to win. He leads by example, and hopefully this guy can come back and not retire. I don't think he's going to go to another team, but hopefully he gets a team-friendly deal. Like they take care of him or whatever they can do. And Cameron Haywood is a guy for the next two years, and we try and get him a Super Bowl if we can. That would be fantastic. So I'm going to have him as my fifth guy. Is going to be Cameron Haywood. He played in 17 games, 74 tackles, 10.5 sacks, 14 tackles for a loss, pass deflection 4. He had 4 of them, forced fumbles 1, fumble recovery 1. So he was around the football. He played a really good year in 2022. So those are my 5 guys. I have Haywood, Minka, Fitzpatrick, that's 2, Highsmith 3, Najee Harris, and Kenny Pickett. But I'm only choosing 5. So in the comments below, put 5 down, 5 players who you like, who your true Steelers for 2022. But there is a reason why I left off Pickens, right? I left off Pickens. Also notable mentions to Freiermuth, to guys like Warren. They excelled this year in 2022. Even Steven Sims. Look, I don't like the way that he fumbles the football sometimes on the punt returns, but he played some good football. Terrell Edmonds played some good football as well. DeMonte Carsey played some good football. There were some standouts like that. Arthur Millette led by example too, being a veteran. Some guys there, but to keep the video short, guys, those 5 Steelers are my true Steelers for 2022. In the comments below, put down who your 5 true Steelers are for 2022. It's quite a fun exercise. Makes you think a little bit. Makes you choose maybe some of your favorites, some of the guys who did well this year. I didn't choose TJ Watt. I chose the counterpart being Alex Highsmith. I didn't choose George Pickens, even though he had a good year. I chose a guy like Najee Harris who ran the ball effectively. And maybe next year when George gets 1,000 yards, 10 TDs, he'll become that role of the true Steeler. But I still think he's quite young in his development, and I think there's a lot of promise from him. But right now, the leaders by example are Highsmith, Minka, Najee, and Kenny Pickett is becoming that true Steeler as well, which could be the next franchise guy from Big Ben. All right, guys, I'll see you later.